Good morning and welcome back to the 2021 Media Day, County Quarterback Club's Media Day. The next up on the podium is the Pleasant Valley Raiders. Pleasant Valley competes in 3A Region 5. Their head coach is Coach Jonathan Nix. He has with him today senior quarterback Braden May and junior running back Zeke Curvin. Coach Nix, we will start with your opening comments, sir.
I just appreciate you guys having us here, and it's always an exciting time of the year. Fall's in the air. We're actually on day 4 of practice right now with the new guidelines. We didn't get a spring, so we're doing the fall jamboree. So football's in the air, and hey, we're excited to be here. Got 2 great guys with me, 2 great leaders on the team. Braden May, our starting quarterback, placing some in the secondary for us, and then Zeke Curvin is one of our starting running backs and plays middle linebacker. So really excited about both of these guys and how they've took on a leadership role this summer and summer workouts, and even after the season was over, how they started leading early in the weight room and really was instrumental on getting some new faces out. And in the last 2 years, I think we graduated close to 20-something starters. So we've got some kids that are having to step up in new leadership roles, and I really leaned on these 2 guys to try to help us in that, and making sure that those kids, as they're dealing with that, they're still staying confident with everything. So, but I appreciate you guys having us here, and like I said, this is always an exciting time, and some of the COVID protocols starting to kind of go away, and this summer was a little more normal, and so that was good. Really excited about all the kids that we had coming to summer workouts, and so just excited to be here.
So at this time,
Okay, Joe Medley.
Jonathan, you mentioned the protocols going away this summer, but given what's going on right now, do you have to revisit that going forward and maybe start bringing back some of the stuff you did last year?
Well, there's some of it that we kind of kept that I really liked. We try to keep our kids in and out of the locker room in 10 minutes. So once they come into the locker room to get dressed for practice, we're trying to get in and out of that locker room in 10 minutes. And so when we're in there, it's a whole 6 foot for 15 minutes deal. So if you keep them 10 in there, then you don't have them congregating as much. And so we have our pre-practice plan, and so those kids, as soon as they get in the locker room, which that's the part that you really miss. Like, how many of you played football? You enjoyed the locker room. Like, I enjoy our kids wanting to hang out with each other. So we just say, hey, look, get in and out of that locker room and try to go hang out on the practice field until practice starts. And so that's some of the stuff that we've kept. We try to stay away from the water bottles. We use a lot of those little 6-ounce water bottles where they can just drink and throw away when we can. But who knows? I mean, everything's changing day to day. But last year it was, hey, there's a line of parents down the road, and we're checking temperatures on every car before they get out. And so it was just 30-40 minutes before you could get. And so that's really the protocols that I was talking about that we didn't have to do as much of this year. We still try to tell the kid, you got any sign, symptom, any kind of fever, anything like that. But knock on wood, we've been very fortunate this summer.
Question.
Just as a follow-up, as a coach, is there anything you can do to encourage, vaccination, masking when they're not there?
That's kind of a touchy subject because everybody's kind of got their opinion on, and we talked to our coaches about, have you been vaccinated? And here's the pros and cons, but it's kind of a choice right now. Now we won't, me personally, I've been vaccinated, fully vaccinated, but my dad was going through some issues, and you just want to make sure that any time that you don't want that to be taken home to somebody. So that's kind of a touchy subject. Everybody's kind of got their opinion on that.
This is for the players, guys. Tell us a little bit about your excitement level going into this season, and how has the summer workouts been, and what are you most excited about?
I'll go first. We're both really excited for this season. As Coach said, we got a couple new guys out, and that was a struggle getting them out, but they're out now, and that's all that matters. And they're really going to help us out this year. We're people like to count us out a lot. We're always underdogs, but we always embrace that. think it's gonna be a really good year.
I love all the new guys we have coming out. It's one of my favorite parts, teaching all the new guys stuff and seeing their aggressiveness out on the field, flying around, like, because they've never played nothing or anything like that. And
Okay, thanks.
We got several guys that, we kind of talked to these two guys about leading with, we have 5 accountability teams and each coach is over an accountability team. And then we have a leader of each one of those. And so talking to these guys about some of these new kids that have come out of saying, hey, just stay positive with it. Now, if you're one of these instant gratification, you go through McDonald's drive-through and you're mad because you didn't have hot fries right now, then, you might get frustrated. But if you're one of these guys that like to see, like I got into coaching because I like to see a kid grow. I like to see a kid start a new program in wrestling and not win a match, and then all of a sudden last year he finishes 3rd in state. That's what I got into coaching for. And so these kids this year, from week to week, I can promise you they're gonna get better. So it's not about how we start, it's about how we finish. And we have, right now we have 5 seniors with 2 of them that's played before. So we have a lot of underclassmen. So we're not just building for this year in this region, we're building for the future too.
Jonathan and the kids can respond to this too. I think you started to talk about this with the end of your comment there, but what's the deal that's driving you this year? Is it the winning season? Is it that elusive playoff berth? Where's, you heard the Anniston folks talk about, hey, we're on a mission. What's your mission for this year that keeps you going, or what's gonna be driving you?
What personally drives me is where I'm at is these kids right here. That was the hardest thing during COVID, is being away from the kids. Like, I love the camaraderie of that locker room. I love taking a group over there to the weight room. I love the fact that you're taking a kid that's never put a football helmet on. But we've got one kid that he's gonna be special. The last time he played anything organized was 5 years old in T-ball. And so you've got several of those kids like that I'm so excited about, because every day is like new to them. It's almost like a big kid in a candy store. He's like, oh man, this is kind of neat, coach. And so I love that excitement with that those kids are bringing to it. And I think it's feeding off on some of our other kids. Now, what we want to get to is that kid has played with us from 7th grade all the way to 12th. Because you can be a junior, senior, and all of a sudden you've got the mindset of a freshman out on the field and you make freshman mistakes, even though you look at the roster and you say he's a junior. And so, but just like May said, the most important thing is the kids there. And so I'll let them chime in on, kind of what makes them tick with these players too.
Yeah, so like I said before, people always count us out, and I think that's really starting to flip in our school with, seeing all the new guys coming out. The culture's starting to change at Pleasant Valley, and I think that's a really good thing. When the culture changes, the wins will start coming, so.
when people think we won't do good, that's really what drives me. That just fires me up every time someone says something, or someone says Pleasant Valley football sucks or something like that. That really pisses me off.
So, when we talk about that with coaches, I think this is year 39 as a football season, and we, the history of the program's never won a playoff game. And we talk about that as coaches. I've got some really good coaches that I'm excited about. Coach Preston's back. He was on a 2-year military, and appreciate his service and everything. But guys, he was a huge puzzle piece with those teams before he left. He is a phenomenal defensive coach. And to have him back is a huge pickup. And then we picked up Coach Hamby. He's going to be doing our secondary. Then we picked up Coach Turner from Sachs, and he's going to be on the offensive side of the ball. But that's 2 alumni that we picked up that are young coaches that they put the helmet on before, so they know what the kid's going through. So instantly, they're connecting with our kids. Coach Caldwell, their other varsity coach, and then I was able to take 2 of our varsity coaches and move them down to junior high. We had a parent meeting last night, and one of my questions was, who was your junior high coach last year? Not one parent could answer the question. They said, well, who was it, coach? And I said, when you find the answer out, let me know. Because last year, we had to take turns as varsity coaches. Like, I went to every junior high game. Sometimes we had to cut varsity practice a little where I could go and leave 2 other coaches there. But now we have 2 guys, Coach Youngman and Coach Morris, that are gonna be dedicated to those varsity kids, you know. And so I think that's, like, we've got a young group, you know, they went undefeated a couple of years in youth league, and I know it's youth league, but the winning mentality gets in their head. And so those parents and those groups just believe that they're supposed to win. And, you know, belief is such a powerful thing in this business. You know, the person that believes he can and the person that believes he can't are both right. So it's a choice of what you want to believe.
Who's the kid that ain't played since he was 5 years old? What's his story? What's he gonna do for you?
He's gonna be good. I'm gonna leave his name off right now, but he's gonna be
Good for us.
Yeah, I know it ain't good for y'all. We'll just see, because there's actually a couple of them that, as the year goes on, we'll try to do some stories on them. So I'm really excited about these kids.
We gotta wrap it up. 2 more quick questions.
Jonathan, obviously your region's one of the toughest in the state every year. How do you see that playing out this year? You know, how do you see those teams and how do you see you guys fitting in?
Well, I can tell you, it's still gonna be the toughest. It's still gonna be the toughest, and it just is what it is. You know, we have a stretch where 4 weeks in a row, we've got Welborn, and then we've got Sachs, and then we got Piedmont, and then we got Ohatchee. I don't know of any 4 weeks in a row that's any tougher in the state. And so what we have to do is we have to embrace that challenge, and it's in front of us, and we just go day-to-day operations. How can we get better each day? And make sure by the time we get to that stretch there, and there's no off weeks. I mean, you know, every team in the region is good. You don't out-coach coaches in this region. I mean, a lot of them have larger staffs than you. So we try to sell to our kids that we have to do everything right. We can't miss a block and make up for it with a ton of athletic ability. We have to be precise with everything. That doesn't mean that we don't have athletic ability. It just means that we're selling to our kids that we want to be precise. So when we leave the weight room, every rack's got to look the same. We have to win with details. We have to win with details and hard work.
Coach, very well said. We will end it with that. We wish you and the players good luck this season in Pleasant Valley.
Yeah, appreciate you guys.
Thank you.
We don't have him.
All right, next up, the Weaver Bearcats in 2 minutes.